I'll kick this thing off, man. First and foremost, shout out to all the Android users in the world.
No, we
Nah,
not
I'm
doing
playing.
that.
Nah, I'm
No,
playing.
we not doing that.
But this
We
is episode. Are we on? This is 59.
59.
This
59.
59.
Yeah.
This is episode 59 of Manifest Mondays. We got my man Diamond in the building. We got my man Zenas in the building. We
Yes,
got a
sir.
very special guest of the day. We got Sir Ray Wimley, the freestyle savant in the
Sir,
building.
The
and we
freestyle
got my
savant, man.
and we got myself Ramond, man.
Hmm.
And today, man, we wanted to have a real important conversation about not taking things personal, man. You know, this is a big thing that we talked about. We talk about all the time, really, but Ray brought this to our attention, man, that that can kind of like curve how things play out in your life. Literally just how, just by how you take things that come at you, man. So let's go ahead and kick it off, man. Let's start like this. Why, why do you think certain people are not able to get past like taking certain things personal? Like what do you think holds them back from that level?
Hmm. Oh, that's easy. Ego. I
mm,
think I think ego is the biggest thing when it comes to taking things personally, man. And when you can't overlook something, I think you're really just holding on to it. And I think the reason why that is because your ego. It's just you can't just let it go.
That's a
yeah,
fact,
ego
Bees.
powerful, bro. I mean, it just is. Like if I think about somebody that is extremely prideful and they want something to happen for them for vanity reasons, then they always seem to fall. And we got examples of that throughout history,
Hmm.
right? People built these great empires, and then something comes along the way that humbles them and it puts them in a position where they have to rethink everything, or they in some secluded island where ain't nobody seen them ever again. Like I was studying Napoleon, and at the end of everything, he was on a boat and they put him on this like secluded island. He had to write these letters about his grandeur adventures that he was when he was a dictator, not a dictator, but an emperor, if you speak, like a conqueror type energy. And it was interesting though, because everything that he fought for, it ended up crumbling at the end of the day.
Hmm.
And so, yeah, when you do things from ego, you block your own blessings. And I think it's a challenge not to take things personal because things are felt. I think folks think emotions are like since they're invisible, they that they don't impact you. So since we can't see them and they're not tangible in that way, we kind of overlook them as how effective and how impactful they are to our being. Like if
Hmm.
somebody mad at you, you can feel it. That's just facts. You can feel the energy. If somebody hating on you, you can feel it. If somebody dislikes you, you can feel it. And people disguise their dislikes in certain words, and certain movements, and certain ways that they go about just their facial features. And you're like, man, what's up with that? And you feel that. So I think that's more so where that comes from. That comes from like, oh, I felt what you said about me, but how do I internalize that? And sometimes those energies can jump onto you as an individual, and you take that as a personal thing.
Hmm.
That's why I say, it is energy that's real. But if it sticks, I think it is something that you have to double check within yourself. Like I notice when I'm envious or jealous, or if I'm having a hard time looking at other people's success and congratulating them because I feel like I might not have got to where I wanted to go, I double check myself and be like, man, okay, if somebody makes a critique about my current condition and my state of mind, I could take offense to that if I'm not doing everything I'm supposed to be doing, the grind.
Right.
Yeah,
So that's
absolutely.
why I think people would take it personal. So it's a connection between how hard are you going really, how much confidence do you have in yourself, and then understanding that people are in certain states and their opinions is not going to really dictate your outcome.
Hmm.
Right.
So you can't really latch on to those type of energies.
That's a
That's how I
bar.
feel about it.
No,
Agreed.
that's bar. I mean, you guys like talked about everything so far, and I'll say also too, people are like very sensitive sometimes, man. Like sometimes we are like very sensitive. Sometimes people will give you like criticism or critique you, and then we just take that to heart. And
Hmm.
I feel like for me personally, I just learned in life, bro, take things serious, right? Not everything meant to be taken serious. Sometimes you just gotta take things for the face value of it. But I think sometimes you guys talk about it, previously, we allow our ego, and sometimes we're so sensitive, we allow things to just like affect her. And then sometimes people are not really trying to hurt us, right?
Hmm.
Maybe they're just giving out constructive criticism, but we just take that too personal.
Yeah.
And also, I would say it comes from a place of like, whenever you feel insecure about certain things, when people are talking about certain things in our field, you kind of respond to a certain way. But I feel like most of the time when we feel insecure about certain things, you might walk into the room. If you like, let's say if you're somebody who is extremely overweight, right? They might be making a comment about health and nutrition, but you're just gonna take that personal, right? It's not they're not talking about you, but sometimes you just take that so personal. You realize, oh man, they are talking about me, but no, sometimes they're not talking about you. I feel like sometimes insecurity lead us to taking things a little bit personal sometimes.
Yeah. Agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just, yeah, man. I think it's a lot of things. I think ego is a piece of it. I also think a lot of people don't like looking in the mirror. And so like I think it depends on how the
That's a
criticism is
bar.
presented, right? I think if the criticism is presented constructively, that's one thing. If somebody's just like literally just trying to hate on you, like whatever, just shit on you for whatever reason, I think that's something else entirely. But if you can't even take constructive criticism well, um and you allow that to like linger, and you can't get beyond it, I think it's really you lack accountability and wanting to look in the mirror and just understand that, like, oh, well, maybe what they said has some truth to it, right? And
Right,
people always say they want the truth,
right,
but most of the time they don't. They just want to be they want that they just want to be satisfied. They want to hear what they want to hear, as opposed to what they need to hear. And so I think it's a multitude of things, but I also do think it depends on how on the delivery of what it is, whatever the message is too. But I think, like I said, when you can't even take something that's constructive in a good way, I definitely think it's because of ego, and it's because of the lack of accountability of wanting
right.
to look within.
Yeah. Someone made a good point in the comment, JJ87420. They said if it triggers you, look within. I think that's
Hmm.
important. I agree because most of the time,
Yeah.
if you're triggered, what you triggered by,
Yeah.
right? There might be some underlying issue
Hmm.
that causing you to be triggered. So yeah, do some introspection and diving deeper to understand like why you're getting triggered by little things.
Hmm.
And that's a big piece, man. I think because just to connect what they're saying in there too is like if you what do you say, Big Dream Hakeem said, if you're guilty you'll feel triggered. And somebody else was talking about a lot of people take stuff personal because they might be too self-centered. And I think they kind of both connect to the same thing, right? Like in the sense of like if somebody's like, if two people are talking about how much they bench press today, you know what I'm
Right.
saying? Literally just talking about it. Like I was in the gym, we did 250, I did 255. That's what's up. Dapping somebody standing there that can't do it might be like they over here bragging. They bragging, bro.
Yeah.
They bragging. You know what I'm saying?
Wait,
So
we was
so
talking
two
about
things
that.
two things
Yeah.
is happening. Two things is happening. First off, you making that conversation about you.
Right.
It has
Right.
nothing to do with you for real.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So,
Right.
Yeah.
so it's, a lot of time it's like that doesn't even necessarily have something to do with you first off, and then you guilty of kind of like letting the insecurity come out of you not being able to do it. You know what I mean? And probably
Right.
you
Hmm.
just not doing. You probably if you put the work in could do it, but it's
Right.
a lot of people just a lot of people are
Yeah.
insecure about things that they don't put the work in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then it comes out in different ways, and they feel like everything is personal. When a lot of times, a lot of people don't even care what you're doing in general at
Yeah.
all. Like they
Right.
just like they just living their life. So
Yeah.
I think that
Facts.
that's big right there.
Yeah. I,
Desiree said, maybe personal baggage too. How your
yep.
self-image was formed, your environment can impact that.
Yeah.
They can
Facts.
direct you to where you need to heal. I think that's true too, because when you think about like it's a lot of triggers, man. It's a lot of different triggers, and I think we're taught certain triggers. We're taught to be offended by certain things. We're taught to respond to
Hmm.
certain things. We're saying if somebody calls you this, that means this. In certain situations, it does mean this. Like the classic thing would be the word nigga. I came from a society in the South where that was said all of the time. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And I was warned that it was going to be said all the time. But when that word gets said, reminded myself that I'm not whatever they're trying to demean me as. I'm a stronger character than that. So that was
Hmm.
something that I had to realize too. Like your environment kind of can make certain things that you're not exposed to hurt when you first get exposed to them,
For sure.
right? But at the same token, like when you grow up and you get older and you start to listen to different people's perspectives, you can get an understanding as to why it's not necessarily need to take offense to things. But that takes growing and
Right.
expanding. That take, like you said, challenging yourself, going beyond your current um, circumstances and really pushing forward to try to make something happen for yourself. And that's big too,
Hmm.
because when you start being around successful people, conversations do change.
Right.
And
Absolutely.
that's the everyday conversation. So when you're talking about, oh yeah, we in it, man, I just hit 250. I'm about to go hit, I'm about to run 4 miles today. If you ain't ran 5 miles in like
Right.
since high school, when somebody say that, I think it can come off as like,
Bragging, boastful. Yeah.
but at the same time, it all depends on the individual and the delivery. It's like so many
Yeah.
specifics.
Yep.
But for your own personal being, for the people that's out there, I guess, who are in the live, I would say, you got to use your judgment. Always seek to understand first. Always ask questions, even if it's not to that direct person. Just ask the question in general, and you might get an answer in a different perspective that sheds enlightenment on what you're supposed to be thinking. And most of the time, my gut feelings are right about the
Yeah.
situation, and
Yeah.
that's okay. You know,
Right.
Yep.
I think my man Be Easy was in here earlier and he was talking about the four agreements. And that's one of in the book, the four agreements, that's one of them is don't take things personal.
Right.
And one of the things it talks about in there is literally no matter how somebody comes off, like it's even if it's super disrespectful, a lot of times it's not about you, it's about them. You know what I
Absolutely.
mean? It's like you
Right.
know what I mean? Like if somebody is lashing out and it's going to naturally feel away.
Oh
You know what I'm
yeah.
Hmm.
saying?
Oh
And it's
yeah.
going to make you want to react. And there's sometimes that you just are. We human, right?
Right.
But if you step back for a second, you realize that them lashing out is still about them, not you.
Right.
Most
Yeah.
Right.
times.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
Most times, you know what I mean?
And I think having discernment is important for that, right? Because I've learned out here in New York, you got to have thick skin,
Oh
man,
yeah.
because people are gonna shout some
I
reckless
know.
ass shit to you, and it's not directed at you. I promise
Right.
it's not. Like in New York, you gotta have thick skin, man, because people be saying some wild, outlandish shit out here, man, and it's just, but honestly. I feel like they really just be having
You're crazy.
conversations. They just be having conversations with themselves. You just happen to be in their
Right.
Yeah.
vicinity, and it was
Right.
just like, nah, you gonna catch all this, but
Right.
really, the you is them, kind of thing. And so, um, I think you have to, especially being out here in New York, you learn really fast. Man, I'm at the end of the day, people are just projecting, right? They're just
Right.
projecting what they feel inside. And honestly, like, especially out here in New York, that's also like why I give a lot of people grace out here, because New York is a hard place to be, man. Like, it's expensive as hell. Like, like there's a lot of people, like there's just so many things that people are navigating and trying to figure out, that it'd be easy to just fall into that, like, trap and want to just like feel nothing but frustration and vocalize it and just cuss the next person out that you see, because it's just like, I can't stand my situation. I'm homeless. I don't know how I'm gonna eat. I
Right.
got this dog with me that I'm gonna keep with me forever, but I don't know how I'm gonna feed this dog. Like, there's just so many different things that you got to take into consideration. And at the end of the day, everyone's fighting a battle, right? But you got to also think a lot of people are losing that battle too. There's a lot
Right.
of people out there in life who are losing their battles. And it's
Right.
just like, at the end of the day, I think they're really just projecting how they feel inside. And that's why I think it's important to give people grace and yourself grace too, right? Because
Right.
it's just like, at the end of the day, people say things that they don't mean in those moments because they don't know how else, they're not equipped with the tools to really properly process this, right? And um the next thing that comes to mind is like, I'm gonna just cuss somebody the fuck out, because
Right. It's
like,
true.
I'm gonna just, you
Anybody.
gonna catch these words, man. Anybody,
And like
anybody.
it's so situational, bro. It's so situational. I think like maybe we can. So in a situation when you're in New York, right, specifically, if somebody like grilling you or they said something that felt like that was just throwing you off, how do you tolerate that? What are some of your go-tos when they do that?
Me,
Yeah, as a person, like how do you?
man, I ain't gonna lie. My ignore game is strong. I'll be out here like Stevie Wonder. I don't be seeing
Yeah.
nobody. I just be minding my business, man. Like, 'cause, you know, um, uh, Hove. I know this probably ain't the best time to be quoting Hove right now, but but
But
um, Hove said at one point, like, being born and raised in New York, right? You know, um, honestly, like, a lot of those people who are acting a particular way, or saying particular things, they just want attention at the end of the
right.
day. And the best thing
Right.
you can do is just to ignore it, not give them the attention. So honestly, in most situations like that, I just don't even pay mind to people. I'll be acting like Stevie Wonder. I don't be seeing them, I don't be hearing them, kind of thing. Um, I'm not necessarily saying that's the best way to go about things because I think there's a time and place for everything, right?
Right.
Like, I think there's a time and place to have a conversation with somebody. But like in New York, I'm not gonna sit here and have a conversation with everybody who's sitting here cussing on the side of the street and and going through something. Because if that's the case, I'm not gonna be home for the next 73 hours because I'm gonna have a lot of conversations with people who going through some shit. So I my ignore game is strong,
Yeah,
very
no,
strong.
I like that though. You heard this saying, you hear this saying a lot, right? Hurt people. It's true.
That's it.
Most often, when people are going through a hard time, when they are going through distress, they want to bring you on their level, right? They'll say shit to you, and then they'll just want a reaction out of you. And for me personally, like I realized that not every reaction requires an action from me, right? And I was driving one day. This girl, man, she like I turned my signal on, to merge lane. And then she rolled down the window, just giving me the middle finger, like going back and forth. I'm like, God damn, like, like I was so upset. Like I was gonna respond, but like, what is that gonna do for me if I respond? I'm just like matching her energy. And I rolled up my window and I drove away and went to work. And I didn't even ruin my day. So imagine if I would have like tried to like get her level, like speed past her, middle finger back to you. Like
Yeah,
how is that gonna make my life better? So sometimes I just realized that not every action requires me to like do something about it.
yeah.
Sometimes just ignore the noise. There's a lot of noise around, like Z said in New York, right? There's a lot of shit going on. Sometimes you just gotta ignore the noise, man. Put your headphones on.
That's it.
Just keep your head forward.
That's it,
Hey,
man.
hey,
That's
one
it, man.
time, real quick, to shout out to JJ, man. He said, and sometimes fully engaging helps.
Yeah, I
Hey,
saw that comment. I'm like, JJ sound like he need to go hit a
not
heavy bag or something.
hey, but I did want to kind of circle it around because I know we all of agreement, but there are times that things just have to be addressed, right?
Yeah,
So what
absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
like so let's talk about that about there's moments that can't always just be ignored. So in moments like that, how y'all going about that?
I mean,
So you're pretty much saying when taking things personal is valid.
Yeah, like
Uh,
when not even
I,
taking things personal, but like when it's unavoidable. You know what I
Mm,
mean? There's
yeah,
sometimes it's like where a response is warranted. Like now something has to. You know what I mean?
oh yeah,
How do y'all handle moments like that?
I mean, just it
I
depends
think
on the
it was.
situation, right? Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Ray.
No, I'm thinking it could. When you say response, first I like to analyze everything, so I gotta address how it affected me. So like, if it did affect me, I sit with that. That's like my go-to. Like, man, I could sit right now, but let me sit with that. Then after I sit with it, I probably respond in the form of music, or I probably go home. But let's say, for instance, I can't get to those outlets quickly in that moment. Being in the situations that I'm always in, for majority of the time with my kids and my family, you know what I'm saying? Or
Shout out
outside
to
or
Phoenix.
downtown when I'm rapping on the street.
what's up,
You
Phoenix?
see it? You good? Oh snap! Yeah,
Oh,
most
man.
of the time when I be out there on the streets and I go and get connected with these individuals, you face that a lot. And I just feel like, man, I always approach it with a calm attitude and take a second to breathe. Like, all right, let me tell this person about themselves, but let me figure out a way to address it. And I
Yeah,
change my tone. I look them in the eye, I try to figure out who they directly talking to, and I try to
yeah.
personalize myself with them. Like, I'm a human.
Man,
Thanks.
If they
Yeah,
affected me, I'd be like, bro, that hurt my feelings. I ain't
man.
like
yeah,
that. Let's talk about that. If they made me mad, I'm like, bro, you made me mad. Why you do that? And most of the times, people kind of like check themselves to be like, all right, yo, let me think about this. I did come off a certain type of way. Like I was there, I think CVS the other day, and the homie didn't want to count all the money that I gave him to put on my card, and that pissed him off.
mm,
And I could tell he was pissed off about it. So he was slamming the money down and stuff like that, and was telling me like, man, you don't bring these dollar bills back in here like this, and
yeah,
I don't like all this money before closing. He was pissed off. Looked like he
Right.
just had a bad day at work. I saw him again. As soon as I walked in there, you know how you don't want to see the person you saw last time that serves you in the business, but you got to
Yeah,
go to that spot. So
yeah,
I'm like, man, hope he ain't here. He there. He's there. I get there.
yeah,
I had the amount of money, but I changed it and I put it in order a certain way and I handed it to him. And he still had something to say about it. I'm
yeah,
like, man, boy, you okay? In my mind, I'm
yeah,
thinking, man, are you okay?
yeah,
Because if you still that upset about something that happened like 2 weeks ago and I don't even know you, you know it's not personal. and you
Hmm.
holding on to it, then yeah, I think you gotta address it. But just be calm with folks. That's like,
Hmm.
especially having kids. I think a lot
Right.
we articulate, we educated. Use some of that sass,
Right.
that fire, some of that energy that you got when you articulating yourself in these business meetings, and do the same thing when you conducting yourself amongst the
Hmm.
streets.
Mhm.
Have a
Facts.
just it's all about delivery and approach when you're talking to
Right.
people.
Yeah.
If somebody is aggressive and they ready to match your energy, dilute it. Just be calm.
Right.
Yeah.
Somebody calm or somebody vindictive and wicked, then you just got to kind of avoid it. But I just think it just depends on the individual itself. It's
Yeah.
Right.
always a way out of a circumstance. It is. It's
Right.
always a way.
I
But you
agree.
got to challenge your creativity to figure out how would you address it.
Yeah.
And we all have those ways of doing it. Maybe what I propose we would do, especially in the music industry, is look, it's gonna be some stuff that's gonna piss you off.
Right.
Period. It's gonna be some stuff you're not gonna like. As opposed to being angry about it, what I learned is I put yourself in those situations for real, and then figure out what you would do with those situations, and go through different emotional aspects. And then when those situations happen, since you know we telling people that's on live right now, so I think in some way we about somebody in here might about to be going through a situation, or they just
Yeah.
got out of a situation. So what I'm saying is, think about that situation in depth.
Yeah.
Right.
Think about what you were doing in that situation. So when that situation comes, you good,
Yeah.
Right.
right? You know, you kind of prepared
Yeah.
for it. Because I know. Oh, go ahead.
No, no, you good.
I was just saying, off experience living in New York, the first time you hear something disrespectful ain't the 100th time you heard something disrespectful. By the time
Hmm.
you heard it the 100th time, you got a strategy for it because it's gonna happen again.
Yeah.
So I just say analyze all of these different tactics, that all of these different ways you feel
Yeah.
hurt, and then come up with something in your own time to be like, man, if I'm in this situation again, I'm gonna seek to understand. I'm gonna listen to this person. I'm gonna pay him a compliment, and I'm gonna really try my best to stay in my nature. And over a period of time, people start to calm down because they
Yeah.
start
Right.
to notice you ain't the problem if you don't act like the problem.
Right.
You know what I'm
Facts.
saying? Some people be like, "You want a problem?" And I wish. Let's do it. They ready to
Yeah.
be the problem that person,
Yeah. They
you know what I'm
ready.
saying, won't.
They ready.
So
Right.
that was long winded, but I just had to get to that. I felt that's what I would do,
Uh,
or
Right.
let people
yeah.
know in those situations. You know.
Right.
I agree. I agree pretty much with everything you said. I think Mickey had mentioned it earlier. 99% of the time I'm gonna walk away. The
Right.
only 1% of the time I'm probably gonna address something is if ever it got physical. Like if somebody just walked up to me and punched me in my face or
Right.
something like that,
Right.
it's a different situation. Like
Right. Right.
I'd like to think in my mind that I could just walk away,
Right.
but we might have to like really figure out like what just happened. Like because I know it couldn't have been directed at me because I'm just a stranger. So I'm like, whatever. But now we in a problem now because you just punched me
Right.
in my face. So I'm gonna be like that meme. You know what I mean? Uh, I'm gonna
Yeah, we
be
got a
that with
problem
the
now.
flying
Now-
fist. But I think that's honestly the only time I probably ever let something like really get under my skin is if like somebody decided to like because I think words are one thing, right? Like if
Right.
somebody is like trying to attack me verbally and whatnot, it is what it is. At the end of the day, I can walk away from that. I like regardless of what it is really that's being said. But when things get physical, when things get violent, that's when I'm like, all right, you crossed
Right.
a very particular boundary that like I'm good at drawing boundaries, and I'm like, all right, now it's a problem, at this point. So I think that really be the only time where, I'm not saying that people out here in New York just going around and punching people, like I'm not saying that, but you look, all I'm saying is don't put it past anybody out here in New York, man.
Right.
People be out wild out here,
Right.
but I think that's honestly the only time I'd ever like really let something get under my skin is if it ever got to that level. But I think also to that point of like, we talked about earlier of like, just processing things, discerning things, whatnot. You can tell when somebody's probably going through something
Right.
and you can read the room, right? Like you like that person right there, I'm probably gonna be on the other side of the street because like I don't know what you got going on, my brother, but like it don't look good, like whatever it is that you got going on. So I'm gonna just go ahead and avoid the
But
situation.
how y'all feel about this then? Like, if people got all of these issues internally and stuff like that, like, what if we act first as far as like with love goes,
Right.
right? Like, I know people are gonna go and be wild and all of the time. They're gonna be pissed off. They're gonna be mad. But I do know it's probably somebody downtown right now that could about to be have a bad day. But if I keep him in mind and go give him a slice of pizza,
Hmm.
Like, does that change the energy in the ecosystem of what people did? Like, I know it's folks, and it looks crazy, right? In the world where everybody is just going around and hating on each other. But if we going around and being like, bro, I just want to give you this for the day, bro. I saw you was hungry for the day. I've noticed, like, over a period of time, it softens folks' hearts, and
Yeah.
they can't live with the excuse that nobody treated me
Right.
good today.
Hmm.
You know, like you constantly out there, and I know that's a lot because we all have our individual paths that we going on. But I always thought about like attack it in a manner to where like when I go downtown and I know it's about to be some craziness going on, I used to be really uncomfortable when I saw like just really just ragged, you know, homeless people. I'd be like,
Right.
I don't know what they going through, and I'm out here rapping. At any moment, it could get crazy,
Hmm.
right?
Right.
And I'm putting all that energy onto them, and they feeling it as I'm putting it onto them, and they feeding off of that. I got to a point I was like, man, you know what? Next time I see somebody that's homeless, anytime I see somebody homeless, I'm gonna give you $5 or $2. I'm gonna give you something, a hamburger, something, an apple right before you even, man. Every time I do that, they always calm down for
Right.
a second. They look at me and they say thank you. And if they was like going through any type of schizophrenia or they had issues like that psychologically, even that moment of love, they calm down enough and they'll walk away and they'll go do they thing over there. Right? They won't be around the energy or they'll chill. Like it was somebody I rapped last week. He looked like he looked psycho. Like I ain't gonna like he looked like he was going through psychosis and things in his mind were not stable. I could look at him
Right.
and tell that was off. And he looking at me in my eyes while I got the microphone while I'm rapping. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, dang, okay. I don't really necessarily want to say anything that can set him off, but at the same token, he right here.
Right.
And he ain't going nowhere, and I'm outside, and it's like 11 o'clock, and it's just me and him right now. I start rapping just life into him. You know, like
Hmm.
I can see your struggle. I can see what's going on. Chill. Man, after about 30 minutes of me doing that, he sat down. And he stopped while he stopped doing, he sat down. He started thinking. Then after that, somebody had brought him some food. When they brought him some food, he further chilled and just he was calm. Then after that, I went over there and I handed him some money. I was like, bro, you got $5 from my bucket today. He was like, hee hee. He took the $5, chilled out, and he walked off. And I was like, I'm like, okay, so it's like, I think it's an energy that's already out there and people feed into the energy, whatever it is
Right.
Yeah.
today. So my
Yeah.
mindset is like when I'm out there, it's stuff going on in the cosmos. It's stuff going on astrologically. It's energetic fields. It's all type of like chemtrails. The list of what could be damaging somebody's mood is endless.
Yeah.
But at the same token, I feel like if you go out there with love, it changes the situation a little bit and it makes it more comforting. And you see people's heart and they become human. And once somebody becomes
Yeah.
human, then I can say I don't take it personal because
Right.
Yeah.
I can seek to understand. Like if I don't know you, it's easy for
Right.
me to be like, man, I'm not trying to deal with you. But if I know you and I can see a good person in you,
Hmm.
then you can cultivate that.
Yeah.
And that's what them cities like New York and New Orleans is like. That's evaporated a lot because folks are so on top of each other, stepping on one
Yeah.
person, doing this. Let me get to where I got to get out my face. But it's like, man, let me help you,
Yeah.
and then it changes the energy.
Yeah.
Right.
I think you bring up a really good point is pausing before reacting, right? That's something that uh is as you get older, and more wiser, I think you walk through life a lot more and whatnot. I think that's one of the biggest things that you can take away from anything is um before I make this decision, before I take this action, before I say these words, let me pause and like really
Right.
process. Let me take a moment to breathe.
Right.
And is this still what I want to say? Is this still what I want to do? Is this still, how I want to treat this particular person or whatever the case may be? Um, it's not easy to get to that place, right? Especially if someone's meeting you with a very particular type of energy. But I think when you when you really take a step back and breathe and process things a lot more, um, and just understanding it's not personal. People are just projecting whatever the case may be.
Right.
It's like, all right, maybe in this situation, let's have a conversation about it. Let's go grab a bite to eat and talk about this, right? Let's really figure this out because this journey of life is hard, man. And it's just like, to your point, maybe they just don't feel like anyone listened today. Maybe like they just want to be heard. And honestly, at the end of the day, I think as human beings, we all innately want to feel longed for. We want to feel valued. We want to feel appreciated.
Right.
And when you don't have anybody to project those things to you, like, you know, when you don't have anybody to share those moments with, it's like, man, all I know is hate because, like, I feel like people don't show me love.
Right.
So to that point, I think pausing, taking time to process and addressing things with nothing but like love and positivity, as much as you can, right? We're all human beings, right? You
Right.
know, like I said, it might be a different situation if somebody walked up to Ray and tried to snatch the mic out of his hand, and then they tried to slap Ray. Ray, I don't know how Ray's gonna react in that
And
situation. I don't know.
I told, but hey, but cause of, so bro, it's so crazy you said that. So it was rant time. I was rapping, and I wanted to get to Francisco. I like what he said. It's widespread and difficult for people to operate in society. We got lack human interconnection, and I believe that's real. And I'm outside doing Super Bowl, and I never forget this bro. This big dude, wide. He came up to me, and I felt something in his energy that I could have probably like shifted the situation quicker. But I was just out there rapping and so immersed in my world, I just didn't think nothing was gonna pop off. I'm like, ain't nothing about to really pop off.
Right.
Man, he looked at me. He gave me that look like he bout it. And I kind of like brushed him off. Like, man, I'm rapping right now. I'm not even really on
Mhm.
that. Man, next thing I know, he pushed me. I'm going back over my bucket, like, and I'm thinking,
Wow.
I know he ain't just pushed me. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I got a crowd. Like, I got a crowd of people. Like, man, I'm embarrassed, but then I'm mad.
Mhm.
Then I want to go put my hands on dude. Then I
Right.
got kids watching me. I got to be the example.
Right.
Mhm.
Then, but I'm like going through an array of emotions. And then as I'm getting up, I get up and charge, right? And I catch myself as I'm charging, and Bunny catch me and everybody, and it was like two other dudes catching me, and they holding me back, and I'm infuriated, and I'm looking at the police across the street. Somebody is yelling, "Police! Police! We got a situation." The dude is backing up, and he's like kind of like disappearing further into the crowd, and I'm angry, and I'm like, man, my show going on, but the people that I was talking to, we was putting so much love and light into them. We was having a really good time. They was like, "Don't do that. Don't do that. You
Mhm.
Right.
stronger than that.
Right.
Don't do that. Stay calm. Don't do that. Man, in that moment, it was like 50 people telling me not to do anything, and it was this one person that was like, man, go over there and whack dude. Like, you better go, you
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, man, you better go put some hands on him. And I'm
You
looking
better
at
go
dude like,
change his,
Yeah.
better go change his oil real quick.
you know what I'm saying? Like, he was like, and I don't know what to do, right? I sat with that. I sat with that for. I did the right thing. It did not feel like I did the right thing. The
Right.
whole night I'm upset.
Right.
Now I'm trying to be like cool with it, and now I got to go to the next situation and go rap at this concert. He just pushed me,
Ready
bro.
the whole
Yeah.
And
mood.
then you know
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
quiet when I get super angry. I'm quiet, and my homies don't even know what's going on.
Right.
Long story short, I told all of my partners, every partner I called, man, this dude pushed me. He's like, nah, bro, you did the right thing.
Right.
I was like,
Mhm.
all right, cool. I called my other homie. It's like, nah, you did the right thing. That's crazy. You did the right thing. I'm like, dang, for real? My wife, she bout it. Nah, you did the right thing. Like, dang, Willie from Chicago. I know Willie gonna be like, man, nah, I'm going there. I was like, man, Willie, I had this issue with this dude, bro. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm still struggling with it spiritually
Right.
because I haven't settled it yet.
Right.
I talked to Willie. He was like, safe, fam. I had a partner. They got into it with somebody that was homeless. And he ended up punching dude in his mouth. He punched him in his teeth. Apparently, when he punched him, he split his knuckle open, and the homeless dude bit into his knuckle. Right? He punched the homeless dude. Homeless dude bleeding, leaking. He going on. He pissed off. He like, I did that. This dude told me within like 3 months he had to get his fingers amputated
Damn.
because it was something that was so acidic in his
The
mouth that it
bacteria.
caused an
Yeah.
infection in his fingers.
Right.
And his fingers turned green and fell off. So they had to amputate him. So I'm like, all right, I wasn't expecting that at
Right.
all. So I took
That's
that, was
that's
like,
the
okay, you
last
don't
thing I
even
was
know.
expecting to hear.
That's the last thing. And that was
Right.
the only thing from that particular situation I could be like, all right, I did the right thing.
Right.
Because you don't even know why you doing the right
Right.
thing
Right.
sometimes. You don't even like, you think it's like, man, I'm embarrassed that somebody gonna upload this on camera and then I
Right.
gotta, it's like, nah, you could be protected
So many things.
from death.
Yeah.
It could be,
Yeah.
it could be some type of encounterment. It could be like, I done got pulled out of a situation where somebody made me angry, bro. Especially when I'm rapping on the streets, bro. I let it go and I come back and now they got yellow caution tape around the situation. Like, okay, like this is,
Right.
sometimes it's like you don't even, you need to get out of situations.
For
So I look at
Hmm.
sometimes when you trigger like that, you're training yourself to like, let me get out of these circumstances. So that's why I say, yeah, I've been, it's difficult, yes, but it's rewarding. But sometimes you don't get those
real.
rewards until like
Right.
3-4 months after,
That's what
and that's
Right.
a
was gonna
testament
say. It's
to
not
your character.
immediate.
Hmm.
Right.
It's not immediate. It might feel better in the moment to react,
Right.
but it's, you know what I mean. But on the other side, it's not immediate that you get
Right.
the
Right.
gratification out of win. You know
Right.
what I mean? Like it didn't
Right.
feel good in the moment
Right.
just to take it, but on the
Right.
backside, you realize it was probably the best move, man.
Right.
I think that's the biggest thing about anything
Yeah.
is I think sometimes we make a moment um so much bigger than the big picture. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And it's like now this is the most important thing in the world, but it's like nah, like when you got a lot moving, this thing is small. Whatever we talking
Right.
about right now is
Right.
very small when we talk about what we really trying to get done. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm not sure whatever that dude had planned with his hands.
Right.
He had a lot more planned in his
Yeah.
hands than after that
Right.
moment. You know what I
Hmm.
mean?
Right.
Like for sure.
Hmm.
And
Right.
whatever he had planned with his hands was more important than that moment. I guarantee it.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So I think that's big.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I also believe you never win in those situation, man. Why if you got in a fight with him, right? You beat him up, right? Now it's a lawsuit, right? God forbid you hit him in the head and he fall, hit his head on the concrete, right? Because I had a friend that happened to last year. He went downtown and got in a fight, and apparently someone hit him in the head, and he fell back, hit his head on the concrete, and he was brain dead, and then he passed away. So like you never know, man. That's why the situation, man. Like it's so
Hmm.
sad. Rest in peace, to like to Curry. Like just going out, getting in a situation, getting in a fight, and then he got hit in the head and he fell backwards and hit his head on the pavement and he was brain dead and then had to pull the plug. So for me, man, just seeing those situations,
Dang.
you never win from the situation, man. I think sometimes strength is not just all physical, right? Having that
Yeah.
That's
emotional
a
strength to
bar.
be able to like walk
Yeah.
away. That's strength to me because other people might look at you, oh, you're
Yeah.
being weak, you're being a pussy, right? Why are you walking away from that dude? But I have family, I have a lot of things to lose, right? Sometimes it's not all about just showing, oh, I can beat him up because at the end of the day, you never win in that situation. And
Yeah.
light always overcome darkness, right? Like Ray was talking about earlier, right? Sometimes whenever things are dark, man, you just need that light because there's a lot of
Yep.
negativity going on. And sometimes when you address that negativity with positivity, people realize, damn, like why am I even doing this, right?
Yep.
And then they try to like adapt and match that energy. So you don't always like for us men, right? We're told like, oh yeah, be hard. And being hard doesn't always have to be physical, man. Like you can be hard in
Yeah.
so many ways. It doesn't require like physical strength.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah, it take more strength to control it. It
Yeah.
take more strength to control it.
For
I got
sure.
Fact.
bro,
Yeah.
having
For
kids and having
sure.
my
For
sons,
sure.
Right.
bro. Like they get under my skin. That's just what it is. Sometimes I love
Right.
them, and then
Right.
some days I'm like, "What did you just say to me?" And that balance is like, I didn't know I could be so here. I could be crying, pissed off. Ooh, I could be hurt, and then I could be just hugging on them and be like, "Man, let's go to the park." And I notice like whatever I do, they start to it starts to infect my household. If I
Hmm.
Right.
start to be upset and mean, if I'm starting to go around now, my son ain't got bitter. Now he didn't got bitter. My
Yeah.
daughter, she fighting. Now my daughter fighting. Now my other son fighting. And now mama pissed off. Now big mama pissed off. Now everybody, it's the rap. Everybody pissed.
Right.
Now I'm pissed off. It's this cycle of energy, and it's hard
Right.
to get out of that state of mind. So I think when you ask to do great things, you have to go through tests that build your character in order to be
Fact.
a great leader.
Fact.
And a lot of the times we talk about athletes, we talking about the physical conditioning it
Right.
takes to be in a certain position
Right.
of influence, but the
Right.
spiritual conditioning it takes to be in a certain position of influence. Like you see some of these celebrities, they get talked about every day.
Right.
Like
Hmm.
good or bad, it's
Right.
not a day missed.
Right.
LeBron James could score 50,000 points. They gonna find something to say about
Right.
dude, bro.
Absolutely.
So when we talk
Absolutely.
about we ascended to them type of levels, when we go on them type of levels of greatness, I'm like, oh, okay. This is like you said, it's small potatoes. It's gonna be way big. It's gonna be
Right.
people that's gonna be trying to sue you.
Fact.
It's gonna be litigation issues. It's
Right.
gonna be folks that's false claiming. It's gonna be litigation, dirty on that.
Right.
Like if you study any type of success, that just comes with it. That's the,
Facts.
but if you
Absolutely.
focus, that's what carries you through. So it's not even more so. I've learned it to take it as like a badge of honor. It's hard, but when I get blessed from it, it's like, okay, now let me go back and reinsert myself in the circumstance. And the hardest part is going and still moving with love and giving people love anyways.
Right.
Right? Because what happens is when you start to not project love into a situation, you start to become that of what you give out.
Right.
It comes back around. So you start to become bitter, angry, jealous, upset, mad. You start to look, feel, think, walk, and act just like those individuals that mistreated you.
Right.
That's how sickening it is. When I think people are really sick,
Yeah.
like mentally, we all are going through things because this world is disturbing. It just is. It's just certain
Yeah.
stuff you see on a daily basis. I can't ask another person to process somebody just getting their head shot off.
Right.
I can't tell you that you're gonna be okay
Right.
after that. You ain't gonna
Right.
process it like the next person. So granted, I always understand like what we're asked to do in this time frame is ridiculous. But at the same token, when you do the right things, you get the wisdom and you get granted opportunities in other ways. So I just say like, nah, stay fast to your character because it's blessing you, but also it's serving you. And it's also healing you, and it's also giving you energy that you need to move forward. A lot of the times that love, man, just giving to somebody and seeing them smile, all right, I'm doing my job
Right.
for the day. And I think I think you have to eat proper fruit. When you eat bitter fruit from the spirit, bro, you're gonna start feeling and acting and thinking bitter. When you do good things and you eat good fruit from the spirit, you're gonna start thinking and acting good. So it's kind of like, but it's gonna get tested. That's what I had to accept. That's why I say don't take personally, because you asked for this.
Right.
You
Yeah.
said you wanted to be the greatest. You said you wanted to be the number one lawyer. You said you wanted to be the number one doctor. You said that you wanted to stay up all night and chase your dream. You thought that was not gonna come with hate? Like you
Come
really
on, man.
thought it was gonna be like nobody talking bad about you.
Right.
You thought everybody was really just gonna love you. And I think I had to move at a time when you're young, you're just naive.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But when you get older, you start to understand, like, okay, it's these things out here I got to prepare for, but that doesn't mean I have to be like those individuals.
Agree.
So that's why it's critical to understand why we move with character and not take it personal. It comes down to that alone. Like, you have so much value in you, but in order for it to be shaped and molded and become that diamond, then you have to go through things that's going to put you under pressure to become that diamond. No pun intended. You don't do that diamond in the video. Cool.
That boy was shaking his head hard to that. He was like,
he was like,
Oh,
yo,
I was like,
yo,
bars. Let's go.
yo.
You made a really good point
Oh,
about love,
yeah.
bro. You made a really good point about love, and I think it's one thing I've learned about love. It's easy to love someone once they're being lovable, right? Once they're doing everything to love them. Whenever they deviate from that, like, can you really love that person? So it takes way more energy to love someone who's not being lovable. It takes a lot of energy to stay positive when everything's around you are chaotic, right? When things are falling down, for you to like stay positive. It's easier, man. When life is good, it's easier to like stay happy because everything is solid, right? You're not going through a hard time, but it's harder to be positive when everything around you is falling apart, man. And I think that's what, I think Be Easy talks about earlier, like being mindful about things, right? Being stronger. Because it's hard now, right? Because you're going through a lot of things. Are you going to break? Are you going to allow those things to break you? Or are you going to like stay positive for the people around you? And for me personally, man, that's kind of like what I'm learning to do. Just stay positive and be strong. Even though when things are not going the way I want them to be, still find, joy in them. Like the grind, right? We got a lot of things that we're working on. We want to achieve those things. And sometimes we don't achieve our goals. We don't reach our goals, right? But how do you keep going forward when you keep failing? Like how do you not give up? You're like, damn, man, like I keep working on this. I'm not getting further. Like how do you push yourself? And that takes a lot of like, it's just more than motivation that keeps going. Because you got to want more, right? Because sometimes motivation is like not there no more. But you got to keep yourself going when you seeing those failures, and just keep knocking on more doors for you to get that one yes. That's going to turn a lot of things around.
Mm-hmm.
And to add to it, I think people who are positive, they practice it. Like you can't be good at something you don't practice.
True.
So it's not
Facts.
like you automatically gonna be this positive dude. Like I practice certain habits that keep me in a frequency and a state of mind. So when I communicate with people, they like, okay, that's what a lot of it is. You got to just get in there and build that discipline and that character, and you get better at it. You get better at curtain folks. You like your ignore game is strong. You had to work on that.
Yeah, it's a game.
You know what I'm saying?
Practice,
Like
everything.
So it's like, just look at it as like reps. These are your reps that you got to put in. All right, I got to go through these things because in the music industry, I mean, it's almost you gonna be disrespected.
Right.
Like I don't
It's
even
not
know
Guaranteed.
even
how.
A
Like
hundred
question. It's
percent.
not even a question. It's
100%.
not even a question.
You almost had to embrace it. That's why I was talking about somebody
Yeah.
like you not even really moving. Me and Z talk about this all the time. You're not even really moving up in music until you start getting some disrespect and some hate, right? Because
Yeah.
at first, when you first start, it's really only the people that you know, and a lot of times
Right.
when it's people that you know and they know that you know them,
Right.
they'll just dope. That's what's up.
Right.
This fire, or just scroll past it and not say nothing. When you
Right.
start getting the comments that you know, when people finding your music that don't know you, they feel like
Right.
they can say whatever.
Mhm.
Right.
So at that point, I started looking at it differently. Like, if I'm getting hate on there, that my music is finding people that didn't know me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, it's getting out there. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just all
Mhm.
about that perspective. Like, it's
I love
getting to new
that.
places. You know
That's
what I'm
it.
saying?
That's it,
I
man.
think the biggest thing on that piece is changing the perspective of what things are. You were saying something about that too, Ray, about greatness just comes with that. Nobody really gives like I feel like the greater you get, the more hate it just comes with it, right?
Fact.
Like nobody's arguing who you I've never heard a heated debate about who was the two worst people in the NBA. Right? Who was the wokes? Who was the
Don't
worst
spend
of all
time on
time?
it.
I never
The
heard the art
walks,
like
the
a heated
walks is
debate. Like, bro,
crazy.
I promise you, he was worse, bro. I never heard that conversation ever, bro. You
The
know,
walk is
the
crazy, bro.
wokes.
I ain't never heard of a woke, man.
I ain't never heard that argument in my life,
That
man.
is
It
nuts.
as you move up, that it just comes with that. You know what I mean? So like,
Right.
you know, as you move towards greatness, man, that the hate just kind of it comes with it.
Yeah.
You
And
know
you
what I mean?
It
So
comes with the
recognize
territory.
it too.
It comes
When you
with the
see it,
territory.
you know, I
No, no. Go ahead.
was like, when you recognize it, then you can kind of like Vegeta your way in it. Like to me, now since I know it's not personal, then it becomes a game. I'm a brand. My brand gonna get attacked. It's just how it
Right.
is. It's the nature of business. Like, since I'm a brand, this person is hating on me. How could I use this to my advantage now? Let me
Hmm.
analyze it. If it is some constructive criticism in there, but I'm confident in who I am. I can take that.
Hmm.
Right.
All right. Oh, this is that. All right. Now we about to use this whole as a marketing scheme. We about to figure this whole thing out, and we gonna benefit it in our favor because we know that it don't really
Yeah.
exist. It's just energy that we can transmute, and that's the dope thing about energy. Because what art has taught me, like you can take something ugly and make it look beautiful. You can take something beautiful and make it look ugly. So I could take this hate and make it look beautiful. I can
Yeah.
transmute that into something. So
Yeah.
it's all energy. But
Right.
you have to understand that's what it really is. Like, I'm not saying don't take it personal because it just
Yeah.
sound good. I'm like, really don't get to a point to where like you understand exactly why if it's jealousy, you need to know it's jealousy.
Right.
Okay, there's jealousy. I know how to deal with somebody that's jealous. If it's anger, you need to know that it's anger. Okay, I know how to deal with somebody that's angry because it's different ways that
Right.
people omit. Some people manipulate. Okay, if it's manipulation, I need to know these spirits and how they move. Okay, so now it's manipulation. I know I gotta do this and this. I gotta be honest. Okay, I gotta be cool. And so I think like certain people present their disgust or disgruntlement for you differently, so you can navigate and also empathize with those people and then help them. Again, like folks are sick, so if it's sick, it has to be cures.
Right.
There has to be ways that these people can get healed. It has
Hmm.
to be frequencies that they can listen to and certain words that you can impute into their mindset that can grow into where they could be like, all right, you know what, I didn't even see it like that. And that's the gift of gab. That's the gift of any gift that we have. Like the devil get a lot of credit. We want to use that type of character in this individual podcast. I would say like we give too much praises to the negative, and if you don't
Right.
cultivate your greatness, you don't understand like how you could. People talk about LeBron. They not. I promise you, when he walk in the room, they not gonna say he. I
Hmm.
promise you, they not gonna waste their energy. They
Hmm.
not
Right.
gonna do that. They gonna
Hmm.
Right. Being
Hmm.
be like, man, what happened
off
to all
that for
the
sure.
hate you had with LeBron? I
Yeah.
thought you was, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like they switch up quick. So to me, it's just
Hmm.
like, oh, okay, you gotta recognize that. Yeah, you going for something great. It's gonna come with it, but don't not look at it.
Yeah.
Like what I'm saying is it's real. Deal with it accordingly. Understand
Yeah.
what it is. But when you understand what it is, dog, that's when you can really start moving. That's when you
Yeah.
can really
Right.
start moving. Because now I'm at an age, if somebody come to me and talk, you will never make it in the music game, and I'm like, bro, I don't even look, bro,
Yeah.
I ain't even got time today.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah,
I'm
That's
saying?
a,
Matter of
that's
fact, I got
a,
an album. If you don't think I can make it in the music, go get my album real quick and go listen to it and let me know
yeah.
how you think about it. Now you just made a sale onto the next. He gonna go hate and go tell buku other haters. Now I got
right.
fans. I didn't
Yeah.
sold
Right.
tickets. I didn't got
Nah.
all this going on. I got money from this dude that's hating out, and because haters speak loud. They speak
They
Fact.
be
loud on
very
your
loud.
name.
The loudest. the
louder
loudest.
than supporters sometimes. A
Yeah.
lot of times,
Oh
right?
yeah, oh yeah. Everybody be having Twitter fingers behind their screen. They be, boy, I'm finna go,
It's easier, right?
I'm finna go crazy. It's just like you said. But once you see that person in person, they silent, man, and stuff like that. But it almost be funny if you actually like use those as fuel, right? Like so, like for instance, I'm sure you get plenty of trolls, and plenty of people who have something negative to say
Trolls.
about. And man, I know
Internet
I
trolls.
know you are at the level where you got trolls, man. I know you are.
Um,
Once you really start finding people, and it'd be funny, because on like I don't even know if you can do it on Instagram, but I know on TikTok you can take someone's comment and use it in a post, and just like it'd be funny to like take their comment and make a like song out of it or do a freestyle
I
about it
thought
or something like that, and
about
just
that. I thought about that, and I was like, man, I was gonna do that, but they don't deserve that much attention.
I was
What I
about to
do
say,
think
bro.
is,
I was about to say,
I
it
agree,
might,
man.
you might get more. You might be giving energy to more of what you don't want at that point, though, right? Like
yeah.
people might be like, oh, I
yeah.
gotta throw a negative comment. He's gonna make a song for me. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Now
you
I
know what
got
I mean?
now people are giving me more negative comments because they know
Yeah,
I'm gonna make a
Yeah,
song about
yeah,
them. So I
yeah.
was
The
like, all
song
right,
yeah,
coming
well,
soon. You know what I'm
that
saying?
song now, like I done got a song, got it, but my comment section, bro, like I got real. So thank you for all the Ray fans, the people that watch me and that support me,
yeah,
bro. Like my
for
comment
sure.
section and the people that follow me, they get on you before I
Yeah,
get on. Like
Right.
it's
yeah,
like I built such a community of people that I trust because I got way more people that love what I do than what hate what I do. So if you do come over here
absolutely.
and try to hate, it's gonna be you versus like 1,000 folks that's like, bro, we ain't even what.
Showing
Like
love,
I be
right?
feeling sorry. I be telling bro, don't even go that hard on dude in the comment section. Like I have
Yeah,
to
like let him
intervene in the
live.
comment section. Like bro, don't even worry about that, dude. We not even here for that because they
Right.
be going hard. You know what I'm saying? And I get it, but at the end of the day, like that's why I say it's so funny because y'all know me, but I guess it's growing in the artist and growing my brand and starting to get like a lot of followers. People start to talk to me like I'm not a person, right? So I just like to make myself like as a human. Like now I'm a human. I'm reading everybody comments. If
Right.
you got comments, I'm reading your comments. I'm
Hmm.
looking at them. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying?
Hmm.
I'm analyzing them. And and however you feel, I think you're entitled to that. That's
Yeah,
okay. But I just it's what it is, bro. And it's at this point, though, at this point, I would say it takes growth. And at this point, we got so much that we got to get done.
Right.
It's a lot that you got to get done. And
yeah,
I remember as kids, having kids, I just see them all the time. They can be pissed off, mad. But if they got to play that game or if they got to get to that park, they like, bro, we ain't about to be sitting here arguing all day, man. Clean up, let's get. And then they go to
Right.
it. It's like we not having fun no more in life. So what people don't go back to nothing after they get through hating on. You know what I'm saying? You got to cultivate a lifestyle that's worth actually getting past the hater. Like
True.
if what you doing ain't fun, then you gonna fall victim to talking to these people that ain't got nothing going on. But if you really got something going on, like if you really about to go, you know what I'm saying? You got like $1 million check that you about to pick up. You ain't about to.
Yeah. Right.
I ain't, bro, whatever, man. Here, take this money with you. Go buy some more money. I love you. You know what I'm saying? We good
Right.
over here. Then go to the next thing. I think you.
hmm,
That's why. That's why we go through that, and it showed me. I didn't stop so many of my blessings from focusing on the wrong energy. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? Months at a time.
yeah,
Things happen quick, bro, and especially in the days where you're not quick, you can blow up. You're not quick, you can
Right.
become like yo yesterday don't have to look like today at all.
Right.
facts.
Like it's that fast. It's that fast. And that's why I say just that's my final really thoughts on it. Don't take it personal.
Hmm.
Yeah.
How do you being someone that's like obviously in that public realm, like receiving both excuse me, praise and criticism, right? How do you like avoid taking the next? Because I know obviously you're overwhelmed with positivity, but like how do you, if you're reading every comment and whatnot, how do you avoid taking like the negative comments and whatnot? Like how do you avoid taking it like serious? It's just like how do you not really like read into it?
I guess because it'd be ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? Like so things that's ridiculous to me make me laugh. If somebody be like, and I'm really confident in my skills as an MC. Like I'm really confident in that. Like that's something I just know I'm really confident
That
in.
part.
So if somebody be like, he suck, I'll be laughing. I'll be like, man, you don't even believe that, bro.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Hmm.
you
It's
don't. You
true.
know what I'm saying? Like you don't
You
really
don't even
believe it.
believe it,
Like
huh? You can't.
like I know you want to believe that really bad, but it's like, come on, bro. Like we ain't even got to go that route. And granted, I could not be somebody's taste. But normally people who dislike something don't pay it no mind.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like if I don't like, you know what I'm saying, strawberries, I don't spend a whole bunch of time trying to go eat them.
Right.
I just don't
But
eat
talk
them.
about
So if
how
somebody
bad they
don't
are.
listen,
Yeah.
now I'm trying to figure out what's good in life. So for me, it's just kind of like, but the comments that do sting, I just think about them and just see what that person say, or I hit them up, or like maybe again, my company, like again, like people attack things for me sometimes.
Hmm.
So like the energy of what I would do, I already see it. So like, man, I want to respond crazy to this person. Somebody in the comment section already didn't respond crazy to this person. Now they got this whole debate going on for like 2, 3. I'm like, okay, I'm glad I didn't do that. So now I
Hmm.
see exactly what would have happened. You feel me? So it's like you got so many different personalities when you do blow up that you got different people responding to different criticism different ways. I say read your comments so you can see how other people are responding and you can figure out how to respond. Some people have clever responses. Some people are anal. Some people
Right.
are looking for. Some people are. I ain't gonna lie. Some people funny, bro. Some
They
people
are.
just funny.
Nah, bro. Some
Like,
people are real comedians out there, bro. For real.
I'll be laughing at some of the comments. I'll be like, yeah, that kind of was true. And that's kind of how I was feeling that day. So it's just it all come with it, man. And I just focus on just giving love a lot more. I start my day off doing a labor of love, and I get into a state of mind where like I get back to why I love music. That really helped me out. Therapy wise,
Hmm.
I got back every 2 hours in the morning. Now I just rap. I rap, I freestyle, I write down tracks, I do those things, I rap. And I fall in love with music all over again. So when I fall in love with it every single day, then by the time I get to the comments, I have so much joy. It's more difficult to get me out of the
Right.
state of the frequency I'm on than it would be if I woke up angry and I carried it. Because energy builds on each other, builds on itself. You know
Right.
what I
Hmm.
mean? So like if you feel good, it's just harder for somebody to take you out your mood. Like if somebody, like you ever heard when J. Cole, I think he went to jail, right? He got locked up for like a brief second. He was in jail, but he
Right.
had just got signed to Rock Nation. So he was like, that was the easiest night in jail that you ever could have. Because I'm about to, as soon as I get out here, I'm about to be straight for the rest of the life. He in
Right.
jail. But he's thinking
True.
like, man, so it's like when you fill yourself up with that type of light and that type of energy, those comments do get easier
Right.
to deflect, you
Yep.
know?
Yep.
So yeah, fill yourself up with love, man. Talk to the positive people around you. That's why I focus on that. And just have
Yeah.
fun, man. Like really have fun. Go good. You know, we foodies. Ain't that like a good meal that
Hey,
can make me
man.
feel straight at the end
Hold
of the
up,
day? I'm about
man.
to go
Let's
cook
talk.
some greens
Let's
right
talk
now.
about it, man. Let's talk about it. What they talking about? I ain't talking about
Ah,
Oh,
nothing.
Like,
So
but
what would you say? Obviously, having accomplished you've accomplished thus far, what you're going to continue to accomplish and whatnot, what would you say has been the one mindset shift or something that you've been able to really channel and focus in on that's helped you stay grounded in the face of criticism, right? With any kind of like adversity and criticism that comes along the way, as you continue to ascend higher, there's going to be nothing but more critique and more um, negativity. Of course, you have plenty of people in your corner, us included, who are going
right.
to overwhelm you with nothing but positivity. But when you do find yourself in those moments, in those scenarios, what do you tend to lean on or into to get through those moments?
I'll go. Either I get real educated. So like say for instance if something like is too difficult for me to understand, I go back to another time period where stuff was crazy. Like in the Victorian era, if you wanted to sleep, it was like 1 penny, and they had a string. No, they didn't have a string. You could sit up for 1 penny, but you can't fall asleep. You can't lean over. You could just sit up, right? If you had 2 pennies, they would put a string from one wall to the next wall, and you could sleep on the string, right? If you had 4 pennies, you could sleep in a casket. And then that's the Victorian day. That's their day to day. They start working at 6 years old. At six, really at four. So the time they started walking, either they could be a chimney worker or they could be in the railroad underground. And both of those are high risk for death. So I'm like,
Yeah,
okay, I'm just rapping. Right. So I'm messed up over this person. I didn't go through slavery. Like it's
Right.
certain people that was great before me that went through real horrific things.
Right.
Like, George Washington Carver went through horrific things. He was castrated,
Right.
you know, because they thought that he was gonna his owner or whoever that was taking care of him at the time thought he was gonna try to do something to his daughter, so they castrated him. I'm like,
Hmm.
okay,
That's nuts.
that's real issues. That's real. But this man went on to be one of the greatest scientists and agriculture people of our time. So
Right.
it's kind of
Hmm.
like, what are your problems really? And you have to open up your thought process to
Yep.
everything that happened. Like when you study what our people went through, like what people went through to get to where they were, our problems are not that crazy. Like I don't have to. I'm from the South, bro. It was like a time period you walk outside, they spraying you with a water hose. You threaten me with some Twitter fingers. I'm not really about to be really all out, bent out of shape.
Right.
I go get educated on what happened before me. That's one thing. I get in physical shape so I feel good about myself and be confident. And then I practice my craft.
Sure.
And then practicing my craft brings me joy. It brings me peace.
Hmm.
And then I got my family, which I got to get back to in a second. I got my family. And it's like once you got real issues, a lot of the times when you solve your real issues, those you don't get caught up in those pointless issues. When you got mouths to
Fact.
feed, when you got like you trying to put like a roof over your head and you really focused on that, and we blessed. We're not at war in the states. It ain't
Fact.
bombs flying all over here and stuff right now. We don't live in those circumstances like that. It's certain people that like it's real problems out here.
Fact.
Like America's problem. I'm not to say people aren't validated in their struggle, but it's like when I read history and the problems that they've had throughout history, it's we got to kind of
Like
like weigh the
right.
blessings that we have right now, bro. You got to be grateful. You
Right.
got to be grateful. I don't have to sleep on a stream.
Right.
Yep. Yep. I was gonna say
Yeah,
sleeping on the string is crazy.
that's insane, bro.
I'm like, boy, like, could you like, I'm really trying to process how you could even get comfortable on that damn thing. I'm like,
No, you're
boy,
not getting
like
comfortable.
You know what they did, bro?
they're
You know what they did in
they're
the morning? In the morning to wake everybody up, they cut the string.
That's crazy.
So you imagine that you hanging
that's
over and then they
crazy.
cut, and that was
That's why that's why in the Victorian era the average lifespan was 17. No, I'm joking. It was like 40 or
Go
something
ahead,
like that,
bro.
I think.
no, I
But
was like
that's
it was like
crazy.
no, it was no, it was like 20 years. I was like 22 years old. They didn't see people that made it past that. And then not to think about the fecal matter that they had all in the sewer system. So
Bro.
it's not like this ain't today. It's not like the water clean.
Right.
So they drinking water with fecal matter in it, trying to figure out,
Right.
and people are dying because of this. And
Fact.
so it's like our problems. You got to really think about like
Come
how
on, bro.
blessed we are. I'm not just saying that like like bro, we not in that time. People didn't
Like
take
slavery.
baths regular in the 1400s. They don't
Mm-mm.
like what I'm saying. Certain it's not like a cut. If you were poor, you know what I mean. We got weight, but again, you can look at your things as negative and you can feed into that, or you can look into your positives. You could say, okay, dang, all right, my life really ain't
Yeah.
that crazy, and so let me just get back
Yeah.
to
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
cool. Oh, my bad, Jay. I gotta
No,
get
you good.
kiddo. My
I'm
bad.
sleeping horizontally on a king size bed. I ain't sleeping on no string, so I ain't got nothing to complain about today.
And I'm on a king, not a string.
I'm on a king, not a string, baby.
Crazy.
No, that's
That's
precisely,
crazy.
man. It's crazy to think about. Even like, cause I've been in this type of situation, right? Growing up in Africa, like not having all the resources that I have right now. There's so many days you have to like study with like candles lights and shit. You don't have the electricity and all that. So I've been through not having anything, right? So for me, man, personally,
Hmm.
that's why like every day is a blessing, right? Because I know what it's like to not have anything. That's why most of my problem nowadays are like first world problem. Oh, I can't find my iPhone charger. Oh, my MacBook is slow. No, I need to go get a new one, right? But there are people out there,
Hmm.
man, that have real issues. They don't have like access to like clean drinking water. They're getting like sick, right, by mosquitoes and all that stuff. People are dying, man. So for me personally, being in this type of situation now here in the States, seeing how my life has transformed, most days when I wake up, man, like every day is a blessing. Like my hard day right here is like my hard day is nothing compared to some days that I have in the past. So every day,
Hmm.
man, is like a positive outlook on life, like you said, right?
Yeah.
So I do agree with that. I mean,
Yeah.
when you so appreciate and look around you, if you can count
Yeah.
your blessing, there's not a whole lot to be worried about because
Yeah.
we are blessed. The fact that we are
Yeah.
blessed, man. Like so, haters, people out there like saying stuff to me, like, how am I gonna be mad when you're talking shit to me, right? When
Yeah.
I know, right, life right now is way better than what it used to be, and my family are doing good. Like the people I love and care about, I'm helping them to like elevate. So what else can you
Hmm.
say to me that's gonna hurt me?
Yeah.
You
And,
know?
and And I think we talked about that earlier, right? Ray, I don't know what your thoughts on it are. We talked about toxic positivity, right? Like where I do think that does exist, right? I do think you can use positivity in a toxic way to kind of mask, whatever it is that that you're trying to hide, right? But I think when you truly do take a step back and really process your situation, though, it's like I'm a very spiritual person, right? So like I believe that like with faith, like I can find the positive in anything. It's not always gonna be easy. It's definitely not always gonna be easy. But it's like I feel like I can walk away almost every situation in life. Almost. I'm not gonna say always. Like some things I do believe everything happens for a reason. And I can't always understand it. I think everything that's transpired in my life has gotten me to the moment that I am now. And I'm proud of who I am and what everything that's happened to me in my life thus far. And therefore, when you sit and take time to process that and count all your blessings and just express as much gratitude as possible, as often as possible, I think it's hard not to be positive, right? Especially when you're in circumstances and situations like we are, So I don't know what your thoughts on that are. Like I do think toxic positivity does exist, but like it's almost hard not to be positive when you actually look at things from the grand scheme of things. Like when you look from the bigger picture, it's like this little this funky ass little moment ain't really gonna like fuck up my whole shit, right? Because it's just. But
I mean, is that a
you
Yeah.
big
also
though?
you also want to give yourself space to process and be sad,
Yeah,
be like to take
yeah,
negativity and whatnot too. So what are your
yeah.
thoughts on that?
And these are my final thoughts because I gotta go cook these greens for the family,
Yeah,
fellas.
you good,
I just
man.
want to, but um, as far as like you say, toxic positivity to mask, like not trying to like feed too much into your blessings or trying to downplay what you got blessed in your life. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, and also yeah, just not trying to like feed into negative, like not be consumed by it, right?
Like
Um,
not be consumed by negativity.
yeah, yeah.
I think a toxic positivity. I'm trying to get like a clear definition on it. So toxic
Well,
positivity is
Basically
because
like being like overly like fake positive in moments that you don't actually feel like
oh,
that, like kind of like
yeah,
pretty,
oh
you know
okay.
what I mean,
yeah,
like you just overly positive even in moments that you don't actually feel like that, and like
Oh
you
yeah,
just
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
like faking
Definitely.
faking the positivity even through moments when you want to say something different, but you like, I'm gonna be positive,
Right.
Yeah,
like
yes,
it might be a moment to
yeah.
be
I think
serious, but I'm just being super positive again, you know what I mean, like.
yeah. Positivity is like a state of existence. It's not like an emotion, right? So like I don't look at me being angry as not positive.
Right.
It's acknowledging a certain energy that I have to express because anger is needed.
Right.
Sometimes you playing
hmm
basketball, you might need to channel that anger into something that's going to benefit you if you want to win the game.
hmm
So
Right.
I think we have a spectrum of emotions, and then they tell us that these emotions are bad. So I think like you have to address your emotions. Like it's ludicrous to be up here upset and then trying to act like you're not upset. You upset.
Yeah.
You got to figure out why you upset, the reason why it is that you're going through what you're going through, and then you got to make a change within your own personal assessment of yourself and then move forward.
hmm
So no, I think yeah, you can be overly positive and not really address that you got issues. That's kind of like smoke and mirrors and the whole conundrum of building a facade in the first place, right? A lot of people say they all of this stuff making them happy and they not. They're not. And that falsifies an identity that we gotta assert ourselves to that don't really exist. So I
hmm
think you have to assess like who you are, what it is you have, be honest about where you want to be, but then think about how far you've came. It's a constant check and balance.
Yep.
Fact.
You know what I'm saying? Of course I want more. I feel that, but then some days I don't. Some days I'm super content. Some days I'm chill.
hmm
These are both parts of me. I want more. Okay, let me figure out what I want more of that's positive and I can go out there and get it. I think
Right.
all of these things have balances into them. So that'll be my final thoughts. Is like, yeah, you assess who you are, your emotions, validate yourself, write it down, be pissed off. You know what I'm saying? Give yourself the chance to breathe and just go outside, go box. I love to hoop. I love to play ball. Certain outlets that have been formed for you to go and express yourself in these ways to get to the bottom of these feelings.
Yeah.
You have to do that because the world is
Right.
crazy.
Right.
It's
It's
certain stuff
crazy.
in the stuff in the world that don't make me happy. So if
Right.
I hear about it, it's not gonna be happy. You know what I'm
hmm
saying? That's normal. It's normal for you to dislike stuff. I ain't about to be love and light and peace when it's not love and light and peace.
Right.
That's not loving life and peace. That's wrong. All
Right.
right, but
Yeah.
let's get you back on the board. Okay, so let's look at how we can make a positive out of this.
Yeah.
But I'll be the kids getting rowdy, fellas. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All
I
right.
Go
want to
ahead.
say
We'll
thank y'all for having
go.
me on y'all platform, though, for real.
Of course,
Nah,
man.
we
Straight up.
appreciate you, man. We
Thank
appreciate you
For
stopping
sure,
by,
man.
sharing space time. Dropping hella gems. Go ahead and cook them greens up. Go ahead and send us your address so we can go ahead and come through, slide through, and pick up a plate as well.
For
I'll be
sure,
over there
man.
next
Y'all, man, I'm
weekend.
gonna cook next time we all together, bro. So I'm gonna let y'all know for sure. We got to do something when we get back together, man. To the Diamond
To
members,
the
to
Diamond
Diamond
members,
the
man.
member. You know what I'm saying? I
And
love
shout out
y'all,
to
man.
everybody who was in here today,
Love
man.
you
Shout
too,
out to
man.
everybody in the
Yeah.
comments,
Hey,
man, and everybody who, tapped in. There were some really dope perspectives in here, man. A really dope conversation, man. And, I really enjoyed it, man. So
oh
appreciate
no,
you
we
being
ain't
on,
hopping off
Ray.
yet. Ray's gonna hop off. We ain't hopping
Right.
off yet. We got a couple more things to wrap up.
Yeah.
All
No,
right, Ray.
I mean, that's a good. I was gonna talk about it. Toxic positivity, even a thing though.
Yeah, so I'm glad you asked that because I just Googled what toxic positivity is. So I'm gonna break this down for y'all. So toxic positivity is a dysfunctional way of managing emotions that
Mm,
involves avoiding, suppressing, or rejecting negative emotions, especially sadness and anger.
right.
It can also involve dismissing someone else's negative emotions by suggesting a positive one instead.
Mm,
So toxic positivity is often a response to painful feelings, and it can promote an unrealistic, optimistic view of a situation. It can be harmful because it can prevent people from addressing the underlying causes of their unhappiness, make people feel guilty about not feeling cheerful, or silence people's pain and authentic lived experience.
mm. I bet you a woman came up with that definition.
You wild,
Just
bro.
kidding. Just
Nah,
kidding.
hey, but nah, dude,
Ah!
I do wanna address it because I think it is real, right? I think
Right.
that I didn't really understand it really until I heard that definition, and the thing that really stood out to me is like when somebody else was going through it.
Mhm,
Right.
I think that's the hardest piece is like when somebody else is going through something super heavy
Right.
and
Trying to deflect.
you
Right.
trying to be positive because you think that's what they need, but it for them it feels like it's dismissing how they really feel. Like, you
mhm.
know what I mean? It's like it's kind of like trying to overpower the truth of what just happened. Like if it was a heavy thing in their life that just happened, like a life changing thing that just happened in their life, sometimes they don't want to hear that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Right.
And they don't want that energy. They don't want to be met with that. Sometimes that doesn't make people feel good. And I've been in situations like that. I'm sure we all have, like where somebody was trying to be positive, and in that moment, it just we get what they was trying to do,
Right.
but that's not the energy we wanted. Maybe we just didn't want anything. Maybe we didn't. Would rather be alone than have the fake positive at this moment. You know
Right.
what I mean? And I think it's it's tough because I always think that like any type of positivity, even if it's toxic, is better than negativity.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But
I mean, I
sometimes that's just
right.
not what's warranted to the situation.
Right.
Hmm.
You know what
Hmm.
But
I
yeah,
mean?
Yeah.
right.
I think sometimes situations just need to breathe.
Right.
Sometimes
Yeah.
they don't need anything.
Yeah.
You know
Right.
what I mean? So
And
yeah,
I think I think being someone like coming like anyone who knows me knows I'm positive. I'm a very positive person, and uh oftentimes like when you get that rap, you want to show up for people at all times in that way, right? Like all you know me, like positivity is my identity, right? So it's
Right.
just like when you find situations, especially like I learned a lot in my previous relationship was that like, I felt like my ex would tell me that like at times it felt like I was invalidating her feelings because like she would feel like sadness or whatever the negative emotion is,
So you're
and
toxic, toxic,
I'd always try to like, provide a
positive.
positive twist in it. And that's obviously just me processing like I think
Right.
this is like what she needs to hear,
Right.
but like to your point, P is just like sometimes I've become comfortable with just like you don't always have to know what to say or what to do. Sometimes silence is just the best thing. It's just like, look, like just telling someone like, hey, I have no words for you. I genuinely don't know what to say or do, but if you do need anything, I'm here. And
Right.
then I
yeah.
think it's just as
Sometimes
simple as
that
that.
feels better
Right.
than well, at least or trying to spin it positive. Well, at least because that happened, then you
Right.
got this. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
Yeah.
sometimes that is not the right spin. What you said is he is like, I'm just here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right,
Whatever you need to do, you need to throw something at the wall. Don't throw it at my wall, but
right,
I'll watch you do it in your house. You
right.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you know, you know, you know what I'm saying?
I,
Nah, but I'm here
I
with you. I'm
agree.
here with you. You know?
Right. Because one of the things for me personally, I'll say a positive, toxic word that when people say to me a lot, everything happens for a reason. I have a hard time grasping that concept that everything happens for a reason. You know, like sometimes
Mhm.
I just believe things happen, man. Like there's no reason why some things happen. Some fucked up shit just happen. Like you can't tell me
Mhm.
there's a reason. Everything is so it's hard when you're going through that situation when someone come and tell you that everything happened for a reason. I personally like I'm like, bro, I'm sorry. I agree with what you're saying, but I personally can't find that specific reason. You know,
Mhm.
sometimes people are spiritual. They talk about, oh, like God putting you through this battle to test you. But like, why? I don't know, man. So for me personally, I have a hard time that specific phrase.
I
Cause
feel that.
yeah, cause I believe sometimes things just happen, and there's no
Mhm.
reason behind shit happen. You
Yeah.
know, it's serendipity, luck, who knows? You know, but people
Yeah.
always want to attribute like, oh, everything happened for a reason. That's why you're going through that. You know, like I'm like, nah,
Mhm.
man. Like you know, especially whenever you're dealing with that issue right away, they're trying to like tell you that. I get where they're
Yeah.
coming from, bro. They're trying to console you to make you feel better. But when you're
Yeah.
going through that hard time, you know, when they're trying to like make you believe that, convey that to you, like I personally don't find like
Yeah.
any benefit in that specific
Yeah.
phrase.
Yeah.
So
It's
that's
it's it's funny that you mentioned that because I feel like I say everything happens for a reason a lot. And
right,
when I say it, it's coming from the perspective like when I apply it to my
right,
life, right? There's definitely situations and things that have occurred in my life that I'll never make sense of, right?
right,
Like I can't explain the reasoning behind it, right?
right,
I can't explain why this person passed or whatever the
right,
case may be. But I do know that the sum, at the end of the day, everything that I've been through, good and bad, has gotten me to where I am today,
correct,
and I think the reality of life is everyone's going through something
fact,
and we all experience tragedy, right? At some point in life, right? Like whether it happens now, whether it
it's
happens
gonna
next year, whether it happens
happen,
It's
right,
tomorrow,
right,
whether it happens
coming.
50 years from now, the thing that we talk and me and Ramon, we talk about this often is right, like love is directly like linked to grief, right?
right,
Like those things are interchangeable. You can't have one without the other because losing losing a romantic partner, losing a family member, losing a close friend, anything like that, you're going to feel everything that like all the bad and the good that comes from that, but I think also the thing about life, right? We talk about it all the time. Life is short, right? I think if we didn't experience tragedy, if we didn't experience bad, we wouldn't know what good is. I genuinely believe that. I feel like I'm not saying that like there there's no reason why this should have happened or like this should have happened, right?
right,
But I do think that there's things in our lives that do transpire and that do take place that provide us
right,
perspective. And it's just like I think when you realize how truly valuable and how finite life is, because that's the crazy thing about life. Life will humble you in the craziest way, right? And I feel like you find out in those moments, you know, you can't be taking things for granted because I think too often we do take things for granted. Like we're all guilty of it. Like we do it all the time.
right,
Right? But yeah, when I say everything happens for a reason, man, I say it from the perspective of like I'm not trying to invalidate anybody. I'm not
right,
trying to um, say that if someone passed in your life, there's a reason why they passed. I'm
right,
not gonna try and make sense of that
right,
situation because I'm not
right,
trying to invalidate. I'm not saying that, but I'm
right,
saying like all the good and bad happens in our life. Um, we learn to just continue and cope and wear all those badges of honor in every single way, and I think it does make us stronger as people, because there would be no good without bad,
correct,
like you can't
right.
know one without
Everything
the other.
cyclical,
If we
right.
all just lived forever and just there was like we all just never died and just it was just like
That would be good.
we all would be out here taking life for granted. Just like like we
True,
might not even have
true,
been born. I don't know. Like there's so
right,
many things to be said, but I absolutely get what you're saying,
right,
though. I absolutely get what you're saying.
right. Right. No, yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy, man. You know, for me, like I'm the type of person I still sometimes I want to find meaning in those things, but it's just hard, especially like a loved one, right? Like, damn, everything happens for a reason. Like, what's the reason behind that? Especially, like a family who's the dad was the primary breadwinner, and then our dad passed away.
Hmm.
Everything happened for a reason. That family had to get kicked out of the house. Like, things, their entire life is ruined. Like, for me, sometimes like saying those things, it's hard to find like the meaning, the reason in those type of situations. I
Hmm.
get it. You
Yeah.
can look at it. Oh yeah, those
Hmm.
situations gonna make them better, right? They can like learn from that and become better. But sometimes, not always. Sometimes people go through those type of situation and their life actually absolutely ruined, right?
That's what
So
I'm
and
saying.
so the
like
reason
some
was like
people might be better, and some people for
right,
damn sure ain't gonna be
Yeah.
right,
better after that.
right.
Yeah.
For
So
me, so like
Yeah.
that's kind of like it's hard just for me to like be able to like grasp, that concept sometimes.
Hmm.
Yeah, but I think that's kind of like the beauty of like I think we attribute meaning to those things for us to like find ways to cope with them, to feel better, right? Because like
yeah,
I say, everything happened for a reason. I can look at this event. I'm like, okay, there's something positive going to come out of this event. It's not always guaranteed, but I think that's like a coping mechanism for us human
it for
beings to just
sure
like,
is.
yeah. But overall, I think sometimes not always positive, bro. Like sometimes people
Hmm.
actually life are ruined,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think in general, you hit that on the money, man. As far as the what you say, positive toxicity, or how would you say,
Toxic positivity.
toxic
Yeah.
yeah,
positivity is in general, it is a what it is a coping mechanism. Like you're
right,
really trying to either help somebody cope or cope with whatever you got going
right,
on by
right,
being overly positive,
right,
right?
Hmm.
And it sometimes
yeah,
can help some people in some situations, and sometimes it just, to be honest, it just ain't. You know what I mean? It just
Hmm.
doesn't add to the situation. So I
Hmm.
get it, man, and think I think that's why more important than just being positive is reading the room and understanding what needs to go on in what moment. And I think something that I've been wanting to just to add to it is like leading with the energy that you actually want around you. I think that's so dope about the people that we find ourselves around and connecting with. I seen Paige on here, Be Easy,
right,
everybody in here that's just been dope in the comments, man. When you lead with the type of energy of that you want around you, it usually finds you. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? And like everybody's gonna have to deal with some type of energy that they don't rock with. But when you lead with the type of energy that you want around you, for some reason it just finds a way to find you back, man.
Yeah.
So your
The
intention
law of attraction,
your
man.
intention is big. The law of attraction is heavy, man.
Law of attraction.
Yeah, yeah, man. So
yeah,
I know this
Hmm.
this conversation went a lot of different places I didn't even
right.
expect it to go today. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
I can still hear you guys. I'm just getting ready because I'm about to leave here in a little bit. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just getting ready. I can still hear you guys.
But yeah, man. I mean, it's it's crazy to think like, I didn't really have much of a grasp of what toxic positivity was until
Me neither. It's
having
my first time hearing that
conversations,
term.
more recently. I'm like,
Oh,
huh, it's interesting to think about, right? Because um, being someone who's like extremely
what
positive, I'm like,
what
are
about
there
toxic
things
negativity though? Is that a thing too?
you said what?
I
Toxic
think negativity is damn
negativity.
near always
I think, yeah,
toxic. Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know. Is there a time where negativity is positive? I
The
don't
I
know.
only
don't know. Toxic
way the only
negativity.
way the only way I could think of is like I think like if you're like strategizing for somebody for something to get something done, it might be good to have somebody in here that's a little negative because they're gonna
Hmm.
be like, well, what if this happens? And you're gonna be
Right.
like, all right, yeah, we do need to figure out what if that happens. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like you might need somebody in there to just kind of like put all the negative things that could happen because then if you start cleaning up those things, then you airtight at that point. You know what I'm saying? That's the only reasons I can think of. You,
Yeah, I need you to come in and shit on this as much as possible.
yeah,
Like,
go
I mean,
crazy,
just go
go
ahead and tear
crazy,
it down.
tear it
Everything you can
down,
think
man.
of.
If we fix everything that you got to do with it, then we ready. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Right.
And shout out to Double N. Double N said, you just have to have faith
Right.
that there is a reason.
Right.
I think,
I mean,
um,
yeah, that's true. I guess you just gotta like just find whatever reason that you can find that will help you cope. I think that's kind of like the faith part of that.
and
Yeah.
I think understanding that like it's okay to not know what the reason is in the moment, like right, like you don't have to know. There doesn't always have to be an answer. I think we get so fixated that like in every conversation, every argument, every whatever it is, just when it comes to just dialogue, that there has to be some resolution or that there has to be an answer. Sometimes you can just walk away and just like, all right, let's just put a pin in this. We'll revisit it at another time, kind of thing and whatnot, and just
Yeah.
you know, you don't have to figure it all in that one conversation, that one night, that one day, that one week. You know, these things take time, you know, and especially in moments where something, you know, negative, something tragic, something detrimental, something life altering happens, you know, it's okay to not know, and to just be okay, like just sit in that moment, process it. But yeah, toxic positivity is it's absolutely a thing. Here we are.
I feel it, man.
Any or wait, hold on. What's the would you rather? Okay, so before we get into the would you rather, do y'all have any final thoughts?
Nah, man, just don't take it personal, man.
Just don't
I
take it
mean, you know
personal.
what I mean. I
Yeah.
think that's as simple as that for me. You know what I
Right.
mean. A lot of people, it's about them, and it's not about you. Almost everybody is like an extra in somebody else's world, really. Like, so
Hmm.
anybody
Facts.
that you get that negative energy from, you just an extra in their world, for real.
Yeah.
Facts.
Like just like they're extra in yours most times. You know what I mean. And
Hmm.
I like what like Ray said. Sometimes just being active about those moments instead of reactive
Yeah.
is big. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. Don't take it personal. Monica said it the best.
I take it personal.
Shout out to Monica. Shout out to Monica.
um, yeah, I agree. I think yeah, yeah, just not taking things personal, man. It's that simple. There's no need to complicate shit. It's just people going through it. Everyone's going through it. We all go through it, you know, and it's just at the end of the day, don't dwell on things. You know, I
Right.
think just not letting things manifest,
Right.
um, because, and when I say not letting things, I mean negative things, of course, you know, but
Right.
just at the end of the day, man, we all just figuring it out. But um, DG, you got any final thoughts?
Like you guys said, man, just like don't take things too personal, and not every every reaction doesn't always require action. Sometimes, you know, I believe sometimes whenever people are going through hard times, they want to bring you down to their level. So
Hmm.
don't allow that. You know, just stay firm. You know, if it, like for me, man, I only respond to things that I believe. I can't really get out of the situation being physically attacked, but most often, like I'm not going to respond to most situation. Yeah,
All right. So that being said, you know, we're gonna end this with the would you rather before DG, you know,
yeah.
slides out.
Now I'll be working. Having that.
So would you rather assume the best in everyone and risk being let down, or always assume the worst but protect yourself from surprises?
Damn.
I'm gonna ask that question one more time. Would you rather assume the best in everyone and risk being let down, or always assume the worst and protect yourself from surprises?
That's tough.
Man, I would start. I would start. That's a hard one though. But I would say the best, right? Because that's kind of like I feel like that's like my life right now. I always assume the best and then allow people to like show me otherwise. You know, so because I can you can just go around life being negative, man. Assume like everyone's coming to hurt you. You know, I think that just I don't know. For me personally, I think I wouldn't live happy if I just assume every reaction, everyone's trying to like fuck me over,
Hmm.
everything I do.
Yep.
But I think I'd
Yep.
rather give people the benefit of the doubt, reveal stuff to me. So I'll take the latter for sure.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make mine short and sweet, bro. I'm gonna echo exactly what you said, man. I don't think you could live a good life if you just thought everybody was out to get you. It was
Right,
always wrong. You know,
Yep.
just assume
right,
the worst of everybody. I don't even know where you would ever find any good in life. Where would
right,
you find? You would
Mhm.
never find it. Even if somebody was doing good, you'd be like, oh, they just did that because they want this, or
right,
they just did. You know, you would
Hmm.
never find any good. At least if you assume the best,
right.
then it would be up to those other people to let you down at that point.
Fact,
It
Hmm.
starts good, right? It starts
right.
good, and then it'll be up to them to let you down. So and it would be good until they let you down, and if they never did, it would just be good.
Yeah.
You know what I
Hmm.
mean? So I'm definitely on that. I'm on the same
And,
side,
and,
bro.
and I just thought of that, bro. Life would be crazy, right? Imagine like I'm crossing the street right now, right? Imagine if you just assume the worst from everyone. You probably like cars just gonna run you over.
Yeah,
Yo,
ain't like
your entire life
they
would
about
be
to hit me,
yeah,
man.
Yeah.
They gonna try to hit me.
Yeah.
You know?
everywhere you're going, bro. You're gonna be watching
Yeah.
over your shoulder every day. Like people
Yeah.
gonna come and rob me. Like how,
Yeah.
you can't live life in fear. So
Nah,
like,
bro, you can't. I, I I definitely, I'm gonna go ahead and third that statement. I'm definitely assuming the best because I feel like for people who assume the worst, to me, that's like that's not living. That's just existing at that point.
Right.
Like you're never gonna take risks. You know, you're never gonna like you're never really gonna be vulnerable, right? You're not gonna let people in. Like, you
Right.
know, you're just if you're always on guard at all times, you know, like
Your
what,
friends, your relationship, everything's
like
gonna suffer, bro.
what really could you be doing? Like what are you gonna value at that point? Like if you just if you assume nothing but the worst at all times, man, like what are you really gonna be doing in life? I
Right.
really don't know. Like I don't know. To me that sounds like a crazy life. Ain't no way. Ain't no way.
No way.
I'd much rather be the former and
Yeah.
assuming the best in everyone and just, you know, at the
Yeah.
end of the day, it's out of my hands at that point. You know, like, look, I'm a just assume the best
Right.
and
And allow you to fuck it
like
up.
you
Yeah.
said, allow people to fuck it up. At least, like, I'm out here just doing my part. Like, look, I assume the best. And at that point, I'll let Jesus take the wheel.
Yeah. And when you do that,
Yeah.
I think you leave things up to like you come from like an open heart, you know what I'm saying? And you
Hmm.
leave things up to like whatever happens at that point. Like I know it's not on me because I came with you know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like open to assuming the best. I came into it like that. So if it went the other way, that's just how it panned out. But I came in with the right intention. So, you
Yeah.
know,
Right.
And that's the word, it's intention. I think intent is everything, man. When you intend to have the best out of life, you're going to live the best life you possibly can. If you intend to see the worst in
Right.
everything, all you're gonna see is
Because
that, you know,
you're just
and
gonna be a negative person, bro. You're just gonna be a negative person. That's not what we're trying to be.
and
Because at least,
no one likes
yeah,
being around a negative Nancy boy. I'm telling you, there's nothing. I can't be around that kind of energy, man.
yeah.
I'm like,
Because
nah,
he's
man.
gonna tell you about his DJing. You go, oh, bro, that shit's not gonna work out. I'm gonna tell you about my
and
business. You go,
never
oh,
worked
bro,
out, bro.
that's
You know
not gonna
how
work
many
out.
DJs there are out there, bro?
Yeah. You go, oh, bro, I'm about to go to the gym and work on my fitness. Go, bro, you'll never get in shape. I don't need that motherfucker around me. Like, not at all, bro. Like,
Hell no.
so.
I'm good. I'm good, man.
Tell them to stay their ass at home and lose my number. No.
Lose my number. Yeah, so I don't know.
But yeah, once again, shout out to everybody who tapped. Shout out to Ray Wimley again, man. He's doing incredible things, going viral again. Just he's done it multiple times. You know, he's continuing to ascend at a crazy level. Love to see it. You know, all the success and all the good things are coming his way. You know, when you talk about positivity, his life is overwhelmed with it. And so is ours. You know, like there's nothing but greatness in the scope of all of us. And you know, I
Absolutely.
think it's because we don't take things personal. I think we're out here surrounding ourselves with the right intentions, with the right people, with the right energy, and just with love, you know, right? I think, you know, to the point of what Ray said earlier of leading with love, I think that's exactly what we're doing.
Right.
And at the end of the day, I think we're just trusting that whatever happens, happens. But you know, good things are on the horizon for us all, man. So shout out to everybody who tapped in. Shout out for all the people who was active in the comments and whatnot. And we appreciate each and every one of y'all, man, for real.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yeah.
Appreciate
Shout
y'all
out to you guys, man. I feel like
rocking, man. Appreciate y'all boys,
yeah,
man.
yeah,
Shout out to the
yeah. I feel
Spot
like
Network. Make sure y'all tap in,
well,
follow the page at the Spot Network Official. Y'all can find us here every Monday. We'll be back next Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time and every Monday after that. So make sure y'all pull up on your boys, follow the boys. And other than that, man, we appreciate y'all, man. Y'all have a good night.
appreciate it. Yeah, have a good night, bro. Shout out to you
Peace,
guys,
man.
All
bro.
right,
Love
y'all.
y'all, man.